Okay, so I'm gonna start with the ship object. So the ship is a game object. It keeps track of the data used for moving, shooting, and colliding and collisions for the specifically for the ship. Um, so yeah, let's go into how it works. So the player manager will call the constructor of the new ship, which will initialize all the variables that will remain constant throughout the instance of the game, such as speed, um, the ship's boundaries, its sprite, all that stuff. Uh, when a mushroom grid is eventually created, the ship object will then be registered to the current grid um, and given a movement controller through its initialize method, which is right here. Um, yeah. So in the update, input control is, where's my update? Here it is. Okay. So input control is my movement controller. So it's responsible for supplying my ship with any of the input, um, any movement input, be it from an AI or from a human player. Um, enemy spawner, it's just a function I had just to test out, make it just to help me test out the critters. Um, yeah, it doesn't serve any serious purpose. Um, and then there's move. Move once again, using the input controller to get my new position. It then tests my new position uh, with the mushroom grid just to make sure that I'm not colliding with anything or if I'm going over any boundaries or anything. Um, yeah. If I am, then it'll correct them. Um, so yeah. So for firing, so input control, get firing. If that, if this tells me that I'm firing, then I'll call my fire method. Um, so fire make sure fire my fire method makes sure that uh, the total number of bullets on screen isn't exceeded a certain time. If there are no bullets on screen, it'll create a bullet and decrease the bullet count. Um, and in doing so, it'll basically lock this method, so it can't create any more bullets until bullet count gets incremented. Um, so yeah, this is a good segue into bullet factory. Just checking something. Okay. So yeah, my bullet and bullet factory. So to create the bullet, the ship tells bullet factory to create a new bullet. This is bullet factory. Bullet factory is a singleton. Um, it stores all the created bullets in a pool right here. Um, creates it in the pool. Okay. So yeah, ship calls create bullet, does that. Um, this will then go to private create bullet, and then it'll check the pools. If the pool's empty, then it'll create a new bullet. If not, it'll just grab the first bullet that's on top of the pool and then initialize it accordingly. Um, so the bullet is one such example of where I use a observer pattern. Um, so as I mentioned before, when a bullet is created, um, it locks the fire function. So it locks the fire function. So I basically need a way to unlock this function, and I do that by basically giving the um, create newly created bullet a pointer to the ship. So the bullet will do whatever it does. When it's destroyed, it'll then use that pointer to the ship to increment the bullet count on the ship, so that go down, increment here. Yeah, so it'll increment the bullet count, which in turn will allow the fire method to be called again to create a new bullet. Oh, also, it's worth mentioning, because I'm using a pool and factory, really just the pool, pretty sure. Yeah. So, when the bullet is destroyed, it's not actually deleted. What actually happens is that recycle bullet is called instead, and what that does is it just takes the bullet that exists, it deregisters it from the scene, and it pushes it onto the it puts it into the bullet pool so that it can be used again instead of having to create a new bullet. So yeah, that's the ship and the bullet.